we pay a lot to the local ambulance service. I know the town has a contract with them. Mm-hmm. But anybody, and we seem to be shipping inmates to Huggins quite often, and sometimes we can drive them, other times we have to call the ambulance to drive them. But even though the town has a contract with them, we have to pay extra, just like they do in Conway. Even though they have a contract with them, they pay extra. Hales Location, we got a contract with them, and they have to pay extra too. So, and I think that's out of. Are they in Ossipee, the ambulance service?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There is a lot of benefit derived from having the county complex here, and also in the pride of being the county seat of Carroll County, of all the towns. Ossipee. Yeah. Someone went to Concord and fought for that, and we're the county seat. So there's a lot of pride to be taken away from that, and there is benefit. What prompted me to get this started was sitting in a selectmen's meeting and hearing the people in 2012, a group of people at the meeting, just talking about how they have no high-speed internet. And I found that so unbelievable in 2012 in Ossipee, right here, on a major area, that they didn't have that. So that kind of prompted me.
Those people need to talk with their representatives.
If there's a way that a partnership can be worked out with the county, if needed, because of all the acreage that the county does own, to help provide that for them.
Yeah. That opportunity was here with Cooperative Extension. Whether that's fully lost or not, I don't know.
I think it is.
But if I could come back to you and present perhaps other opportunities, if they exist, would you be willing to take a look at those?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I have a quick question. You said that opportunity was here for UNH. You mean that fiber line that was running?
Yes.
Yeah.
But what did Cybertron put in? We paid him $45,000. I thought he put in a fiber line too to the new nursing home.
That's.
What did he put in?
We have cable that comes in here now. We could have had high-speed internet service with UNH bringing their line in. Instead, they're going right by us and going up to Conway.
So the new nursing home, what we paid Cybertron, it's something else?
No, it has nothing to do with Cybertron. Cybertron is just
but he put
here.
a line in for $45,000 in the new nursing home. I thought he put in a fiber optic line when I asked him at an IT meeting. I asked him if he put in a fiber optic. He said yes.
Yeah. Cybertron only deals with the complex. They don't deal with the line coming in from outside. We're talking about the line coming in from outside that would service Water Village and other places in Ossipee that doesn't have it. That's what would have been the benefit of extension coming here. One of the benefits.
I understand, but with a new nursing home, he put in a new line.
But that's only for this.
That's here on this complex. You got to get something here to make it work. Okay. We do have cable, and that came in because of the sheriff's department for emergency services.
Was that line for the new nursing home, was that installed inside the new nursing home?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Running that during the construction, or was it after? It must have been during the construction.
During the construction, everything.
Yeah.
That was done during the construction.
Okay.
Well, it's interesting. I hope you found it interesting to look at all those things.
Absolutely did.
So the bottom line, what do you think the bottom line is? Do you think the town of Ossipee is getting a benefit from the complex being here, or
the bottom line is,
or are they paying too much for the complex being here?
The bottom, in my opinion, the bottom line is we're even.
You're even. We're even. Okay, that sounds good to me.
And that leaves me just to ask for you to consider a partnership, perhaps, for bringing internet service to this area.
Okay. Anybody? Yes, Mr. Brown.
Is it, Melissa, did you say 74% of the residents of the nursing home are from Ossipee?
Sorry, if I could just give you a copy of the
14%.
14?
14.7.
Oh, roughly 15.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome. Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Interesting information.
Yeah.
Should I work on Wakefield next? Or?
It's good to do that every once in a while.
Yeah. It's good information, if anybody ever uses it or curious like me.
I wonder if they do that for schools and hospitals as to what the benefit of having a school and a hospital in Wolfboro are.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll see the tape and they'll want you. I don't know.
Do you hire out for this?
It's fun. It's fun.
Anybody got any questions regarding any of this information? I'm sure there's some other things that we could look at as far as benefits to the town as well as the county.
Yes, I have a question for Melissa. At the end, you said your opinion that we're even, but you still want to have the water users waived.
I think now that I've gotten an explanation about how the system works, and that it would have an impact on the residents of Ospey Corner in the courthouse square area, and that doesn't make sense, because if the objective is to benefit the people of Ospey Corner, that doesn't really do it.
No.
It just benefits the fire department.
It just puts more, it costs
Either
the
way, they'll
residents
have to.
more, yeah.
Either they pay
You could pay
from their
one side,
precinct taxes for the water, or they pay, or their water bill goes up. I mean, either
Yeah.
way, it's.
one way or another, they're going to get hit.
So I
Yeah.
wouldn't even consider that anymore. I appreciate your explanation.
Melissa, if there's such a concern as, you know, $600 for water used to fill the fire trucks, couldn't they fill the fire trucks from a lake? I mean, and granted, it may not be practical all, you know, throughout the winter, but if there is such a concern, they could, because I know they do pump water from lakes in the case of a fire. So they could always drive down a lake and fill the fire truck up, not too, wouldn't be too difficult.
Yep, and that's a question I'd have to ask the fire chief about how the pump system works for them.
Yeah, David?
I know the cable companies will put in cable when there's enough residents in a given spot.
Yeah.
The nursing home didn't count as 103 new residents?
I believe that was one of the reasons why we were able to get it.
So if there are 103 new residents to the Water Village area, they can't.
They're not new,
But-
they've
but-
been here for a while.
But not all 103 are using the internet.
I think it has to be a certain number within a mile, and there is a
There's a-
stretch where there are a couple of houses before you get
From
actually
here to
into
Water
the-
Village, there's quite a stretch
Yeah.
in between.
I think
Yeah.
that's what does it, why they're not able to piggyback off the
Yeah.
complex or
Yeah.
Kelly Farm Road or.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this counts as high-speed internet or not, but I have an internet device that runs off my cell phone signal. So wherever I can get cell phone coverage, I can get an internet connection. And I didn't know if people in Water Village were using that system.
Some of them have I don't know if any of them are using that. I know some are using, I believe it's HughesNet. It's a satellite service that provides internet.
Don't know.
It's like a satellite dish. They get it through their satellite provider. I don't know what other things that they're using.
Is that slower or more costly?
Both, from my understanding.
So they have internet, it's just it's not fast and as cheap as it possibly could be. Okay. No, one other thing, if I can. Driving back and forth between Conway and Ospey is quite expensive, as I'm finding out. I would say, I wonder what it costs Conway to bring a prisoner to our jail and back. And that would be a pretty big expense, I'd imagine.
That's the cost of having an inmate in your town or a violator.
Is it the sheriff's department that say a Conway police officer arrests somebody? How do they get from
They
Conway
bring them
to-
here
they
to
bring
our
them here.
facility.
Conway Police does.
The sheriff transports them to the court and back. The sheriff may on occasion, probably most occasions, if we have an inmate in Concord that has to go to trial here, the sheriff will go down and pick them up and bring them here, and then bring them back. You know, that's a cost to the taxpayer too, yeah. There's no easy way of doing it. I will say that we reversed our decision about
Having the local police.
yeah, we made a decision back a year and a half ago, about when a police department brings a person to our jail
The booking procedure.
for booking, they had to go through the courthouse first during business hours. We reversed that now so that they can bring them directly to the jail, and we'll book them in the jail. What was happening was it was costing each of the towns money for their police department or their police officer to wait for the courthouse and get a whatever it is they needed to book them into our jail. So that we reversed that. Another item that the county attorney wants us to pursue, and that is regarding an impound yard. They still feel that the present impound yard that we have is not, there's no security on it, and that they use that impound yard as evidence. And we brought that to the delegation a year ago for their appropriation. They felt it was too expensive, that actually they said individual towns should keep the vehicles in back of their police departments, but there's no security there. Years ago, towns used to pick these vehicles up after an accident and take them to a local garage, and then the local garage was having less and less room, so then they started charging the county rent to keep the cars there. We decided that to save the taxpayers money, we'd have it here on the complex. And that's where it is presently. However, county attorney feels strongly that we ought to have our own impound yard and have it secured with a fence and so forth. We did have it surveyed. We have a plan laid out. We're supposed to go in back of the parking lot here in the Pine Grove. It was all laid out by White Mountain Survey, but it was decided that that we hadn't had any damage to any of the vehicles that were presently in our impound yard, even though they might be dripping oil or gas or whatever. So that's where it stands. So I think, depending on how the other commissioners feel about it, I think we ought to mention it and at least bring it up, because it is an issue. And if they want to turn it down again, that's up to them. Anybody have anything else they want to bring up today?
Yes,
Yeah.
I still have a question. It was not clear when I asked about a NACO, the registration fee of $500. Are you NACO? It said registration fee $500.
Yep.
Are you going to a conference?
Yeah.
For what is that?
Yeah, it's in Washington, D.C. in the first week of December.
So you're going to a conference?
Yeah. It's a NACO conference.
Oh, okay.
It's a legislative, they call it a legislative conference. I'm going as the president of the New Hampshire Association. That's why they're paying my way.
But it is paid on a county credit card.
Yeah, I tried to do it on my own credit card, and NACO wouldn't accept it, so it went on the county credit card. It does give some accountability. There will be money reimbursed for it.
What would be reimbursed? The fee? The registration fee?
Registration fee. I'm not sure about the housing. The housing was direct with the hotel. I think that went on my own credit card. So right now it's $500 for the registration fee.
Because I asked last year to go to a conference and you said no, it was too expensive. And you also said you will look what it is on the agenda. So I wonder why you are going.
As I said, I'm not going on county dollars. I'm going as president of the New Hampshire Association of Counties.
Yeah, but You use our card, so they're going to reimburse the registration fee and the hotel and the meals and the air ticket, airplane, everything?
Yep. There'll be no county dollars used for me to go to the National Association of Counties.
And that is in December, you said?
March?
Did you just say you're going in December?
No, I'm going in March. Did I say?
Yes, you
Yeah.
said.
I said March, not
No,
December.
you said December.
Okay, March, and I'm going to New Mexico in May, at their expense. And I'm hoping to go to Pittsburgh in July, at their expense. That's why they elected me to be the president of the New Hampshire Association of Counties. Does that answer your question?
Yep.
Okay. Any further questions?
Yes, I have another question for
Okay.
Commissioner Solomon. There are complaints coming in, the letters from the nursing home, and you said the nursing home is your area.
Yes,
But the complaints, the letters are directed to the commissioners.
yes,
So it needs to come to all the commissioners.
absolutely.
We
Yeah,
always do
okay.
that. You know,
But
when
you
I,
just said you wanted it only go to you.
No,
You said you wanted it directed to you, and all I said
because
was,
what happened, letters came in, nobody answered it, and I asked for the letters. Commissioner Soderson was looking for them, and he said he can't find them, and I get a couple letters from 2010. So I think if it comes to me and I open it, we already see it, and I will keep it in my drawer.
well, I will open it, I will keep it in my drawer.
look,
I have some,
This-
by the way.
the
You have
suggestion,
some? Yeah, okay.
the suggestion box, it was my idea about 3 years ago to put one over at the nursing home. People just dropped in their suggestions. Very few of them put their name on them. They didn't want any retaliation against them, my understanding. All those, if you didn't get them when you were elected, I passed those around to everybody
Yes.
in the office. All 3 commissioners looked at those. If there was no, and they were brought to the attention of whatever it was, whether it was the jail or whether, mostly it was nursing home. It was brought to the attention of the director of the nursing home. They looked at it, and if there was a name involved in it, then they would get an answer to their question or their issue. But that was shared with everybody, and from now on, I think maybe we need to initial each of those letters. We haven't got any. We have gotten very, very few since we moved into the new nursing home. But we'll initial them so that everybody then sees them. Okay. Anybody that signs, anybody takes any documents out of the commissioner's office from now on will sign for those documents. Kathy Geary has an inventory list so that when stuff goes out of the office, we sign for it. Actually, nothing should go out of the office. It should stay within the office. But if it comes out of the file, then somebody has to sign for it. Okay?
Point of order.
Yes.
Now, as Commissioner Solomon said, she's gonna keep them in her desk. That's clearly a violation of law.
I know that. We'll take care of it.
The clerk, by the RSA, and I will have the RSA number for you here at the next meeting, the clerk has to be in possession of every county document there is. But once again, I guess we're not gonna follow the law.
As it happens, I was the clerk. That's why I have it in my drawer.
She was the
You
clerk.
just stated that
Was.
you're gonna keep those documents.
Okay. Yes, we
That's
did.
clearly a violation of state law.
Absolutely.
Everybody will initial the documents so that everybody has a chance to see them. All right? Anybody else? Damon, you're getting ready. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering, how much discretion does a commissioner have to use a credit card unilaterally?
Say that again?
How much discretion does a commissioner have to use their credit card without the other commissioner's knowledge?
I don't have a credit card. I don't know, but just, I've never used the
But,
credit
What
card.
are you-
Right now, a commissioner has to have a credit card, and my name is on that credit card for the county. anybody that puts anything on a credit card goes under my name.
Yeah.
It's just, we tried to do it it's through the nursing home, actually. I don't know how it ever got started over there. But that's just the way it is.
Well, I understand it's being reimbursed. And where are you going in December? In March?
I'm going to Washington, D.C.
Okay. I understand. You know, your expenses are being reimbursed, and we'll take you at your word for that. But
you know, I'll show it to you. I won't take my word. I'll show you the receipts.
Okay. But in the future, if we had a less scrupulous chairman, they could grab the credit card and, you know, go to Hawaii or go to Las Vegas and go gambling or whatever, and then I suppose they could reimburse it later if they hit a jackpot. But how much authority do you have to use it for whatever, you know, daily expenses or whatever you want before you have to go back to the other commissioners and get approval for the spending?
I think if we go to a national meeting, any commissioner goes to a national meeting, we have a certain amount of money in the travel account. In the past, it's been divided up 3 ways, equal ways. And whatever they, if they use up their 1/3, then the rest of it comes out of their pocket or out of some other outside nonprofit organization or whatever wants to sponsor them.
But suppose a county widget broke and you were at the widget store and you could just buy one with a credit card and then give it to Will or whoever. Would you consult the other commissioners before spending?
If it's not in the budget, when they submit a budget, I think you notice whenever somebody comes in and wants to spend some money, one of my first questions is it in the budget? And if they say it's in the budget, then they go ahead and buy it. They've already got approval. We've approved their budget. We've submitted to the delegation. Delegation approved the budget. I don't know how many times we need to approve the budget for a particular item that they can go and buy because it's in their budget. If it's not in their budget, then they have to come up with an alternative. Where are you going to find it in your budget? Are you going to take some money out of this line item, move it over to another? If it's over $1,000, you have to get our permission to do that. Okay? Hopefully commissioners are professional people, honest people, and we're responsible for the dollars in the county. I'm sure that the county delegation could take us to task for it. We have to submit our budget on a quarterly basis or review the budget with them. I don't know what else we can do.
Has the cost been reimbursed yet, or is it going to be reimbursed after you go?
As soon as I submit that bill to the state, they will reimburse us.
It seems like it would have to be reimbursed after you go, or else you could make money on a trip that you never went to. You know what I mean? You'd have to go to the conference and spend the money at the hotel or wherever else to get into the conference before they reimbursed you, or else you could get the reimbursement without actually going, right? I mean, what I'm saying is,
I guess you could. I don't know.
You wouldn't have the receipt right now. You would have the receipt after you bill it.
Yep.
And
we got the receipt for this $500. Yep.
You have so it's been reimbursed already?
No, it hasn't. We've got it through the credit card. Okay, so it's a bill.
Right.
I take that bill and I'll submit it to the treasurer of the New Hampshire Association, and then they will reimburse the county for it.
And Commissioner Solomon, what was this business with you putting documents in your drawer?
I have a collection of old letters that I'm sure everybody has seen.
Well, I'd like to see them today then. I don't think that I see them.
Speak downstairs.
And the other thing what I want to add, I never saw the county credit card and I never used the county credit card. And I like to see it, how it looks like.
What? I've never seen it or used it.
Yeah. And I never use it. I just see the statements only.
It sort of sounded like Commissioner Solomon was going to try to, withhold information or break some sort of laws. That's what it sounded like, but...
She's talking about when she was clerk.
I was clerk.
We received letters just like what she's talking about. from the nursing home in particular, as a result of my box being put over there to get comments on any issues that anybody had. To be honest, those that were signed have a top priority. Those others that are not signed, we ask, you know, is this true, what's going on over there, whatever it happens to be, and it goes from there. But if nobody wants to stand up and sign their name to it, it becomes difficult to respond back to that individual as to what action took place.
I guess what I wanted clarification on was, then Mr. Brown said, if Dorothy had letters and was kind of hoarding them, that would be a violation of law, and then you agreed.
I wasn't hoarding them, I was just holding them.
No, if you had been hoarding them, if you had been.
The RSA clearly states possession belongs to the clerk.
Okay.
Right. And you were the clerk.
And I was the clerk.
Okay,
She
now
was
I
the clerk.
understand. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
But
no,
she's
but
not
we've been
anymore.
talking about the recent letters. She says she have no letters.
But it
I
doesn't
didn't say
matter.
She
that.
have.
It's
All right,
for the
Mr. Brown,
clerk.
please ask to speak. Okay, go ahead.
The RSA clearly states possession belongs to the clerk. Commissioner Solomon is no longer the clerk. The possession now transfers, according to the RSA, to the current clerk of the county commissioners. If not, it's another violation of law.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is there a central filing location where these things could be put? Because obviously, one person doesn't get possession of all the records. The person's responsible for the care and maintenance of those, and so that they're accessible to all the commissioners. So could those,
She has
could
a
her drawer
locked
be emptied into a
cabinet.
file
But she has a
cabinet?
locked
She has a locked cabinet
They're not
that she keeps
personnel
them.
records, are they?
No,
They're not-
personnel
they're
records,
not non-public
no.
records, so that wouldn't even
They're
apply.
she can explain it herself, but
Yes.
she has a locked cabinet for all non-public minutes and anything else. I mean, I'm not sure that all these sheets of paper that come in, all different shapes and sizes, some typed, some handwritten, very, very, very few of them are signed. Whether they need to be under lock and key, I don't think so. They're not any special document. They're just an issue that somebody felt that somebody may have been doing something wrong, whether it was personality conflict or whatever.
Yeah, I want to speak to the issue of I have a locked filing cabinet. Not really, because a couple of weeks ago they went into my locked file cabinet. It was like a break-in. I don't know who they was. The person who has the other key went in.
Change the
Because I
law.
had only one key and the other key was missing suddenly. And they went in my file lock cabinet. I did report it to the proper authorities.
Where did you get the filing cabinet?
I get a filing cabinet from the sheriff's department.
So he has the other key?
He gives me one key is missing. So one key, somebody from the county has the key.
So it's somebody from the sheriff's department normally?
No,
No?
no.
How do you know? How do you know? By the same token, how do
He's-
you know
he
somebody in
said-
the county?
No, he said he got only one key, and that is what he gives to me. So I need to have another filing lock cabinet. I would get a new lock.
I would
but need
suggest,
another cabinet.
I would just suggest that you use that one across from your desk. There are two keys to that.
Which
Um,
one?
That one where the public, that one just inside the door, that long cabinet, that's lockable. So you can have
How
that
many
one.
keys
Plenty
are
of room
there?
in there.
How
there's
many
two
keys are
keys.
there? I want to have my own lock and bring my own two keys.
Well,
Because
what
I already-
happens,
What happens?
I think we got a problem here. If something happens, unfortunately, you get in an accident and get killed, how do we get into that filing cabinet?
Then you can just they can just
Just
go
break
and
it
drill
open?
it and open it. I mean, they find a way to go now into it, so why wouldn't they find a way to go later into it?
Is it a,
I'm not in an accident, nothing happens, I'm coming every week, and they find a way to get into it, so it doesn't even make any sense.
can I ask you a question? Do you trust the other commissioners in the office?
Do I trust the
Yeah.
commissioners
Yeah,
in
do you
the
trust-
office?
Commissioner Solomon and Commissioner Sorensen, myself, in the office. Do you trust us?
Well, what I am